Welcome back. This is Tucker. Today we're going to be doing something a little bit different. We are going to be doing a little digitizing tutorial. So there's a lot to do with digitizing. Digitizing is a very complex thing. So today we're just going to go right into the basics, just to say like how to do it and all that kind of stuff. Before anyone asks, the program I'm using is Digitizer version 5. Currently version 5.5 is out. I did not upgrade to that one because all it really included was some extra fonts, which I don't use the fonts, so it wasn't a huge issue for me. This program is rather expensive, so I know not a lot of people will be using it, especially if you don't have a Janome machine, since this is sold by Janome. There are a lot of other programs out there that work differently than this one and are a lot cheaper. But for this example, I am using my program. So we are going to go right into it. First of all, we're just going to go straight to the digitize little tab here, and we'll start off with a square, which is super easy. So there you go. There's a square. So I have true view on right now. Now it's off. This is what it looks like without true view. True view just kind of gives you a hint of what it's going to look when it is stitched out. So right now it is in tatami. So we're going to go over a few of the different stitches you have available to you, or kinds, like stitch types. So tatami is going to be your more close-knit, thickly dense, thickly packed threads. In this square alone, there is 7,535 stitches, which is a lot. But yeah, it's going to be the thickest one, and it's going to have this kind of texture here. So you can also do a satin stitch, which, that looks weird. Satin is best on smaller areas because you will get a lot of this different weave stuff, but satin is really nice. So as you can see, it's dropped it down to 5,500 stitches besides 7,000. So you also have the 3D satin, which I've not actually used that one yet. I haven't used any of these other ones except for tatami and satin, actually. Embossed motif, which motif, this one's always going to look like that. So there you can get a bunch of different ones in here. It all depends on like what your program comes with. So yeah, so tatami and satin are going to be your main two. And like I said, if you turn true view off, that's what it looks like. And that's what, I have to select it first. So yeah, that's what tatami looks like off of true view. And then that's what it looks on satin. So yeah, that's a square. You're not going to be really digitizing squares a whole bunch, so we're just going to go ahead and delete that. You also have the circle here. So circles on this digitizer is you pull out, and then you click enter, and then boom, you now have a circle. So that's pretty easy. Delete, please. So now we're going to go into the more complex things, which you're going to need when you have a more complex shape, and that is digitizing a closed shape and digitizing an open line. I don't use the freehand ones a lot. You can. I don't personally like using the freehand ones. That's just a single stitch, by the way. So yeah, we're going to skip over those two and just go to the digitizing open line, digitize closed line. So these are the two that I use most often. And it's pretty simple. I connect this a lot with that one Adobe program. They make vector images, Illustrator, Adobe Illustrator. It is click, 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 click. So it's pretty simple. And you make your little shape, and okay, so I just did a problem. So I'll explain this now. So this is supposed to be a closed shape. Unfortunately, because I clicked the freehand link, it automatically went to line up here. So we're going to click that back to fill. We're going to delete this guy. So if you don't have the fill on, then you're going to end up what just happened there, which is basically what happens open line. And what sucks is I go back and forth between these two a lot. So when I click open line and I go back to close line, it has automatically switched it back to line. I don't know how to fix that. So, okay, so closed. So a left click is going to give you a straight angle, but if you right click something, it'll give you a curved angle. And this is pretty confusing at the start. You never want to do 2 right clicks in a row because you start getting some really weird stuff there. So you ideally want to go left, right, left. So like if you're making a circle, you're gonna do that. It can get really complicated. It is hard to get used to. As you can see, that's gonna be an issue if you actually did stitch that out. But yeah, so that is what a closed shape is. Pretty simple. So the open line right here, you can go over here and you can have so we're just gonna show a triple or a single run. So it's just a single line of stitches. It's just gonna stitch right, each point there is gonna be with the machine going down. And it's just gonna stitch a straight all line. So a triple run is, as you guessed it, it's gonna do 3 times as many things. And like you can change your stitch lengths here, change the length here, and then they have a bunch of different stuff. So like a motif line is gonna look like that. And so in the motif lines, you can also change it to all these different guys here. Once again, it depends on what program you have. Oh, that went weird. So yeah, so a back stitch, it's gonna go backwards, or it's gonna go like that. Yeah, it's really hard to explain. Blanket stitch, if you're a fursuit maker, you know what a blanket stitch is. So, and then satin stitch. So this is the one that I use the most when I do an open line. It's gonna be satin or the single run. So satin stitch, like we explained before, that's a single satin stitch. So it's gonna go like this, basically. So this is kind of the stitch that you're gonna have like around patches, or if you are appliquing something on, you're gonna want this on there. There is actually an applique whole section, but I don't typically use that whole section because it gets confusing. So I break it down by myself and use this. Over here, you can do like, you can change all the different types of settings here. So like the width, we can make it 0.1. Oh no, can I not make it? Oh, I don't have my thumb lock on. So you can change a whole bunch of different settings. So that's gonna make it a lot smaller. And then if you want it really big, you could put, actually I think it was like 8, so I don't know how much different this is gonna be. Yeah, it's not gonna be much different. So yeah, so that's gonna be your open line. You'll never be able to make a solid shape like you will with the closed line. Like I said, we're gonna do that right there. So for a little example, I'm gonna see what program I have. Oh shit, I'm totally using the wrong thing. Okay, so to import artwork, you're gonna go to the artwork section, you're gonna do insert artwork, and I don't actually think you can see what I'm doing right here because I don't think it records that. So I'm just gonna find an image real quick. All right, well, we're gonna use Chaz's logo because I happen to have that on hand and it's pretty simple. Let me just delete all that I have over here. Get rid of all that. So we're not gonna do, oh God, where'd it go? Here we go. We're not gonna do the whole thing, but this is just going to give you a little example. So this is just a straight up PNG. You can digitize with almost any file. The only time the file type really matters is when you're doing auto digitizing, which is a whole nother, like, I could do a whole video on auto digitizing. So we are going to digitize this. So once again, digitize, we're gonna go to the closed shape. We made sure the fill is done up. So hers is pretty simple. I also have the sound turned off on my computer right now. That's why you don't hear it, but it makes a very annoying clicking, like a beep, beep noise. And I feel like I'm in the 90s. So we're just going to do this K right here. And I could be really detailed and like get all these little lines in there, but since this is just for an example, oh, okay, well, I'll do her little, I'll do their little halo thing. Oh, excuse me. So this is kind of showing how to do the left curve, right lift. So in order to get this little curve here, a simple way is my point's right here. I'm going to right click there and then left click there, and then it'll automatically make that little halo symbol. Or curve, not really symbol. I'm sorry if you can hear the dog in the background. She just laid down and she is a groaner when she lays down. Okay, I probably should have chose a different letter because I didn't realize the K was going to be this, take so long. So this is a process. When I embroider or when I digitize a Kiku face, it does usually take me about 40 minutes to an hour, depending on the complexity of it. And then if it has applique stuff, then it takes longer. Okay, cool. We're almost done. So you enter it and boom, there that is. And let me just get the little crown in there. So once again, that only takes 3 strokes. There you go. And then doop, 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 doop. Embroidering definitely has a learning curve, but once you get that, it's really not that hard. Okay, so there's the K and the little crown. So I could go through and do the rest of them. I'm not going to because, like I said, I'm not actually stitching this out. But once you have those in there, yeah, I will go over all the different types of threads in a different video because that's a whole other video itself. Same thing with stitch angles and editing these shapes. But yeah, that is the basics of what is digitizing and then how to do it. Thanks for tuning in. Yeah, if you guys have any other questions, you can go ahead and leave them below. I will be doing a bunch of other tutorials, including the different stitches, what all this is, and get more in depth with it. So yeah, thanks for watching, and I hope you guys have a wonderful day. Bye!